If you go to see each of the panelists over here are focusing on one thing that they want to make a change. And second thing is you also want to ensure the fact that you are the person who is initiating the change and making sure that people around you are growing along with you in the change. And you're pushing people forward and not pulling them down. So in this manner, what we are seeing now is all five of us have been linked, uh, not just through me, it's also the fact that each of you are having the same ideology. Whether you are having different professions, whether you're having different, you're in different locality, right? So we have one in Canada, one in Trichy, one in Kalyan, one in Dubovili, one in Sweden. So five places, five different localities, but same ideology. We have had a certain level of education. We've all gone through our 10th, 12th, and our graduation, post graduation. And we have one person going for his doctorate, and I will be getting into my doctorate. Point being, somewhere we have seen a shift in the education. So you guys agree with this that there has been a shift in education as when what we were as students. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 This is like what do you call it?
Yes.
It's not mirror now. It's not times now. I'm not going to say India wants to know. I'm going to come and get behind it.
Everything is going very formal, I guess.
I know. So then just make sure that
Like
there's no adult stuff here. एक तो Tinder बोल दिया तो उसने Grindr बोल दिया तो फिर वहाँ पे गया. Adult has gone down immediately.
You can change that. You can
people
tap
can
into
edit it.
LinkedIn and
I can change the
and
dialogue. I have prayed to God.
MySpace.
One day I was praying.
Good, that's worse.
You can edit stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
No, Sean, if it counts, I did understand what Roger said in Hindi. So that much Hindi we understand.
okay. So you
Subtitle में मेहनत करेगा.
तो वो कोई काम है ही नहीं मेरा सबटाइटल बैठ के बनाने के लिए. अच्छा, okay. So getting back to the thing. So now each of you, like you've mentioned, you have been with me through a certain milestone in education. अभी इंडिया में कैसा है कि हर स्टूडेंट को they have a set milestone. You have to complete your 10th, you have to complete your 12th, you have to complete your graduation, and in the current market scenario, you have to have an MBA. Okay, so now the future of education, especially in the teaching field, we need to have a doctorate degree, that is your PhD. So now my question over here is, when you were students, what was your special experience as a student? Matan, let's start with you. How did you? What was like the outstanding experience for you as a student in 10th when you were in Abu Dhabi?
So the interesting shift I had is my primarily LKG to 10th has been in the same school in Abu Dhabi. I've never changed any school in Abu Dhabi. It's just our own English high school. And since it was just a high school, I didn't have anything beyond. And I was keen on giving all the competitive exams in India, your AIEEEs and IIT JEEs. So for that reason, we shifted to India in 11th and 12th.
Okay.
But the point was 11th and 12th from a CBSE board in Abu Dhabi, I moved to a state board in Tamil Nadu,
Right.
which is like a drastic 180-degree shift from foreign education with a different board to a localized board.
Right.
So that was a major shift in life. But invariably, it gave me the opportunity and time to work on the other competitive exams. So I did my engineering from NIT Trichy.
Okay.
I did chemical engineering.
Okay.
But again, by the time I reached end of chemical engineering, I realized engineering was not for me. So that's when I gave CAT and I moved to IIM. Ever
Okay.
since after that, it's just been on the management side.
Okay. And
All over the place. If you are specifically focusing on 10th, I'm sure you know as a background, but for others, till 10th, I was at least aspiring to be this model student. Like whatever parents say, I'll say yes, I'll follow that. Whatever teachers say yes. It's like becoming teacher's pet was one of the primary goals back then.
so yeah, you were saying that you were trying to be a model student, and your entire focus was more on marks basis rather than extracurricular basis.
So extracurriculars is always there, and that also more than if I was interested or not, it was something which what my parents preferred or what I thought carried value amongst my teachers or the superiors whom I always sought validation from. So my entire self worth was always judged based on what I scored or what rank I stood in class, or
Yeah.
how much I am always praised for my efforts on whatever I do. So it was always an external source of validation rather than what I really wanted to do. And pretty much this is what 10th was.
Okay. So, Zishan, what do you think? Like, did you have the same thing when you were in 10th? Because you were in Abu Dhabi as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I was in a school called Sherwood Academy in Abu Dhabi. Uh,
Oh.
I don't want to say anything bad right now. I'm just gonna stop myself. But yeah, so I had a similar experience to what Madan mentioned, like external validation. We heard, I'm sure all of us have heard the age-old story. बेटा अभी पढ़ ले 10th के अंदर मार्क्स अच्छा आएगा फिर 12th का आएगा फिर उसके बाद यूनिवर्सिटी आया and life set है like along the way, but that never really came by. So anyway, so the we all me personally, I always felt the pressure to always perform. I wasn't the best student, I was around average. So but yeah, coming back to the point, like there was always a strive, like, oh, look at that guy, he's doing a very good in X subject, that subject. So the focus was always remaining on marks rather than actual gaining knowledge. So that was something that like didn't really make much sense. The ultimate gain, ultimate end goal should be to always acquire more knowledge, whatever the source may be, rather than trying to get more marks. Because at the end of the day, that doesn't. If I got like 97 in chemistry, it didn't really matter to me at the end of the day, right? Like it's things like that. How it can be applied in real world and what kind of knowledge can help you push forward and achieve your own goal that you have set for yourself. So that was something that was lacking during my 10th grade, because I remember being humiliated in class. Like I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with the practice, but उसमें होता ये था that before like 10th board exams, we would have like 4 or 5 practice exams, model exams per subject. So 5 subjects times 5, so that's 25 exams. And then in preparation for that, every week you'd have like tests and things like that. That was like a very Sherwood Academy thing to do over there. So I remember being humiliated in front of the whole class. Like usually the marks would be read in like descending order. So first 100, 99, blah, 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 blah. So marks came closer to like 56 and 54. And then suddenly it was the maths paper. And I remember this very vividly. My name gets called, and my professor, may he rest in peace, he said, oh, there's another 100 divided by 2, and he cracked a math joke in my face over there, humiliated me in front of everyone. And to add insult to injury, there was like caning at the end of it.
Wait, so he actually hit you after that?
Sorry?
He actually hit you after that?
Not only him, yeah. Like I would say, like almost like 60% of the students were outside, because anyone below 70 would get a cane. But anyways, yeah.
But that's something I think we should come back to later on, because hitting and corporal punishment was something which was very common during our days. Okay, so coming back to Arvind, how was your 10th? Where did you do your 10th?
I did in Cochin, but yeah, I was hit as a student as well. But this was more in Chennai when I did my what is it called, primary school, like first to fifth. Yeah. Then I was slapped on my teeth, and like one of my milk tooth, one of those broke, and I've had those incidences. But then 10th, I did that in I did that in a Catholic school, and there apparently punishing is against the will of God, so they did not punish. But man, those sisters were scary as.
Okay.
There goes the
Yeah.
No, seriously. No, but like they never punished any of the students. But you were just, when they walked past, your just used to tighten, like for no reason, for no reason. So that's how it was. And I mean, as both of them said, like when it comes to like what we achieve and what we do, it should be from within, not from outside. Happiness comes from within. You can do whatever you want, but it's not going to make you happy. And well, in 10th, I got 96 in math. My mom was so unhappy I did not get 100.
Oh, 4 marks for handwriting. That's why.
Yeah. I'm serious. My mom was so disappointed. She's like, "How can my son get 96?" I'm like, I'm so happy I got 96. I thought I'd probably get 70.
That's what every
No way.
topper thinks.
Dude, it was just in math and science.
Am I going to pass in the first place?
No, but it was just in math and science. All other subjects I sucked. Because social studies was, I just hated it. I probably got like 70 something. I don't
It's not
remember.
like people are following social science now also either anyway. So it's fine. Doesn't
Yeah, well, I don't. It should just be called sociology. It shouldn't have the word science after that. But anyway, and yeah, I mean, hitting students is really not going to help. Like, what do they learn after you hit them? It's like, that teacher hit me, and you would just not like them, and it's not going to teach you a lesson.
Somewhere do
It
you
also
think
forces
that...
you. Sorry,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
please.
Shyam.
No, please,
No,
carry on.
go ahead.
जी बोल रहे भाई.
अच्छा भाई ठीक है.
पहले आप करके.
अरे आप पहले आप में गाड़ी निकल गई. But that basically forces the students to like mug up information rather than actually learn things, because they'll be like, oh, ये question का जवाब यही होगा, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं होगा, rather than remember it. So and I've like, speaking from personal experience, after 4 months you do not remember any of that. So
I totally agree. And I mean, it was similar. My story with changing from CBSE to state board is very similar to Madan's. Like 11th and 12th, I did in state board, and I sucked because I just couldn't memorize. It was impossible for me. Like CBSE is more you understand and you apply, and state board is just you memorize and you write word for word. And I'm like, I can't bloody memorize. So my score went down in 12th.
Oh.
So
when you say went down, do you mean from 96 to 95 or how is it?
No, 96 to, I guess on a scale of 200, I got like 183 or 184 in math.
That's
something
still
like
90.
that.
Which is 90
Yeah, but
of 100.
no, but like, dude, there are
But in
people
state board,
who,
but state board.
exactly, and there are people who memorize mathematical problems and just vomit on the answer sheets.
Oh, yes.
And they
I
get
have
200 or
it.
200. Yeah.
Zisha and I have
So
a
this is
story for
nothing.
that.
We'll show this excerpt from this
I
video.
I have a very interesting story on this. I'll share later when we talk about
Alright,
it.
so to Arvind's point, when you're saying that hitting students don't learn anything. On a more lighter note, do you think that the reflexes become better?
Oh yeah, especially after you're married. Yeah, when the bailiff comes flying at you.
Okay, so alright.
Jokes apart.
So someone is going to order dinner from outside.
Yeah,
tonight.
that's why he.
Now-
I'm going to sleep on the couch.
How about Kalyan? Roger.
Kalyan. So I was very poor, average student. I used to fail in every subject except maths. So
Till date, I don't
I
believe
used to
that.
fail in every subject.
No, but
So
till date, I
Marathi-
don't believe that you pass in maths.
मेरा हिसाब किताब तब से अच्छा था bro.
That's
So-
what matters as an entrepreneur right now. So
Yeah, that's why he's an entrepreneur right now.
So I failed in every subject. Like I have got 0 also, 0, 4. We had 20 mark examination, like 20 matches, like 20 marks का ये होता था. उसमें भी मेरे को 4 मार्क मिलता था. 7 मार्क पासिंग रहता था. 7 भी नहीं, 6 मार्क.
6 marks.
उसमें भी मैं फेल होता था. Then I failed in 7th. Then I failed 8. मेरे डैड ने बोला नहीं ब्रो, तुम एक काम करो, तुम प्राइवेट में 10वीं का एग्जाम दो. So what I did, I give private exam. And what happened in that, I got into a good tuition.
Roger, before we get into that, just explain कि ये what do you mean by private this thing then?
कोई स्कूल नहीं, नॉर्मली गवर्नमेंट मतलब फॉर्म भरो और दो और 10th का एग्जाम दो.
Okay.
For home school.
होम स्कूल
हाँ,
बेसिकली.
हाँ.
तो मतलब कोई स्कूल का बैकिंग वगैरह कुछ नहीं है, बस डायरेक्टली एज अ इंडिविजुअल स्टूडेंट को जाके.
हाँ,
ओके ठीक है.
बराबर.
I didn't know this was a thing right up till like 12th.
Which is why I ask you exactly कि
Like
क्या
अगर
है.
True.
अगर मैं 7th 8th में ना बैठे रहूं, मैं फेल होते रहूंगा 8th में 2 साल 3 साल, मेरा अगर उतना ईयर कंप्लीट हो गया है कि मैं 10th दे सकता हूँ, तो आई कैन डायरेक्टली गिव 10th.
Okay.
So what happened? I was like more into football, games and all. So 10th में I got into a tuition which taught me not to study, but also how to study and to play football also. So I used to take my football ka bag and go to classes, tuition. So वो मैडम इतनी अच्छी थी, मेरे को अभी तक वो याद है. इंदू एकेडमी नाम था क्लासेस का, ट्यूशन का. सो 3 टीचर थे, एक पढ़ाती थी, मतलब 3 सब्जेक्ट एक टीचर पढ़ाती थी. सो इंग्लिश, मतलब इंग्लिश के लिए अलग टीचर थी और बाकी सबके लिए एक ही टीचर, 2 टीचर थे, मराठी और हिंदी के लिए एक ही. उसने मेरे को सिखाया कि पढ़ाई को कैसा एंजॉय करते. मेरे को पढ़ाई में इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं था, मेरे को खेलने में इंटरेस्ट था. उसने मेरे को बताया कि पढ़ाई को कैसे तुम लोग एंजॉय करके पढ़ाई कर सकते, कैसे तुम पढ़ाई के साथ तुम खेल भी सकते हो. मेरे को कभी मना नहीं करती थी कि भाई तुम फुटबॉल का बैग में 2 बैग दो बैग कैरी करता था. एक बुक का बैग रहता था और एक मेरे पास फुटबॉल का किट का बैग रहता था. और कभी उसने मना नहीं किया. मैं उसके सामने उधर सामने रखता था, उसके सामने बैग रखता था. और पूरे क्लासेस में सब लोग ने मार खाया. उसके पहले मैं बताता हूँ, मैं जब 7th में क्लास ज्वाइन किया, 8th में क्लासेस बड़े ट्यूशन में ना, जो कल्याण इसके सबसे फेमस ट्यूशन है, सब मैंने ज्वाइन किया है. और सब में मेरे को फटके मिलने ही मिलने. केन का फटका तो मैंने खाया ही खाया हर क्लास में. और ये ऐसा क्लास था जिसमें मैंने एक फटका नहीं खाया था और सब लोग ने फटका खाया था. उन्होंने मेरा चेंज देखा कि ये बंदा जो पढ़ता नहीं है, जिसको पढ़ाई में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, उसको पढ़ाई में इंटरेस्ट आया, क्योंकि उसने बताया कि एंजॉय करके कैसा पढ़ते हैं. तो मेरे को उसके साथ में खेलना भी चालू किया. और ये भी मैं फेल होता था, मेरे घर वाले, मेरी मम्मी ने कितना प्रेयर नहीं किया रहेगा कि मेरा लड़का पास हो जाए. मेरे को कभी बोलते ही नहीं थे, मेरे सब फादर के पास लेके गए. जितना भी कल्याणिस्ट, जितने भी फादर है ना, सब लोग ने क्रॉस डाला है सर पे कि लड़का, मेरा बच्चा पास हो जाएगा क्या, मेरा बच्चा पास हो जाएगा करके. लेकिन उनको 63 आया. मेरा रिलेटिव भरोसा नहीं किया कि मेरे को 63% आया. जो मैं फेल, मेरे को सब लोग भरोसा कर रहे थे कि ये फेल ही होएगा. I got 63. That was huge for me at that time.
Yes, and okay, so the thing is over here, all 4 of you have mentioned one common thing, which is marks is a very important thing, whether it is to you or whether it is to your teachers. But tell me one thing very honestly, did you ever, before your parents or before your teachers ever told you, no, you have to get this marks and come, did you ever feel that marks were important?
Nope.
You had no basis, you had no context of what it is, right?
Right.
Because that was like your ABCD. So in school they teach you ABCD. This is introduction to letters. Like that, introduction to school is getting good marks.
So when did you actually, how do you say this, identify or recognize that marks is something which I will be compared on? Like marks is the point of comparison. Or marks is important. When did you first realize this?
For me, since first and second standard.
Really? Roger?
Yeah, marks, na? You're talking about marks, right? First, second standard.
First, second standard, yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Arvind?
Third, fourth.
It was kind of drilled into our head, like marks, like getting a high score in all the subjects is kind of everything.
Okay.
But then it did help, like to get into bachelors. But like when I got my first job, no, they didn't. I took some exams again so that I have A's because I'm an immigrant here, and I want them to choose me than a native Swede. So I rewrote some exams. I got straight A's, and like I applied, and my employer didn't even ask for my grades. They were like, "Oh, okay, you fit in nicely with the team, and yeah, welcome." I'm like, "Don't you want my grades?" Nah, I don't care.
So that is another important question, right? I mean, like Zishan, you did your graduation in Dubai, which again was an Indian-based school, right? College. So over there, when you had taken your admission over there, that time they had looked into your marks, correct? Or did they
That time I
not?
had to fill forms. Yeah.
So your marks were a major criteria for your admissions.
Not as high though. Not as high. But yeah, definitely they had like a cutoff. इसके ऊपर का ही लोग लेते थे, right?
So
there was some selection, yeah.
Give me a
but
range,
there was no
like,
entrance exam for that. Although I've given JEE exam and AI
Yes, exactly.
All India Medical. I forgot. AIPM.
Ames,
Yes.
Ames.
Yeah.
Ames.
Actually, aims to there.
Ask
Thanks for
my
filling.
parents. Ask my parents.
Long story.
भाई
अच्छा ठीक.
वो तो मेरे डैड तो सपना देखते थे कि लाइक बेटा डॉक्टर बनेगा बिकॉज ही
Doctor.
हिमसेल्फ मिस्ड आउट बाय 1 मार्क लिटरली 1 मार्क से वो
Oh,
उनका मेडिकल सीट नहीं हुआ तो
Okay.
ही थॉट कि मैं पहले करूंगा पर मेरे से नहीं हुआ मेरे भाई से उम्मीद लगा लिखी पर मैं वही बोलता हूँ कि जो हुआ अच्छा हुआ लोगों की जान बचे डॉक्टर ना बने दैट इज लाइक द प्लस पॉइंट इन दैट
Okay, playing on to Arvind's point here, saying that when he went for his masters in Sweden, at that point in time, they were not very bothered about his marks in his Indian
they
exam.
did.
Indian exam,
Masters,
No,
yes. Masters.
for my masters, yes, they cared. Yes,
and for your bachelor's,
but
and sorry,
for my first job, no,
yeah
they
so
couldn't
like
care less.
so for the jobs, they didn't bother about your marks. However, for your
Nope,
education, they did.
nope. Yes, I had
till
to
now
have
no one
above 80% or something like that, and I
Okay,
did my CGPA was I don't know above 8. So yeah,
okay.
yeah
Zishan, when you did your masters in Canada, did they look into your marks as well?
yeah they looked
Okay,
into the marks they saw the overall profile and everything yeah it's a big
yep,
factor.
okay. So
exactly.
now, in this case, what I think Roger and I both could agree to is uh, we had the same situation where, yes, okay, we were our marks were checked into when we went into our graduation and post graduation, but for our jobs as well, they looked into the marks. They had a certain cutoff. As in, you need to have, I think, Roger, कितना था अपना वो 60% cutoff, right? 65 cutoff.
कॉलेज
6.
के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. It depend upon the colleges. So
नहीं नहीं, एडमिशन का नहीं बोल रहा, जॉब का बोल रहा, प्लेसमेंट के लिए.
placement के लिए भी ऐसा कुछ नहीं. 60.
60, 65 के आसपास था. So then the thing is, they would look for an average cutoff at 65%. So the thing is over here again, the marks criteria not only stays in the education sector, not only stays in your school and college, but it's also shifted into your corporate life and your placements also. What is your stance on it? Do you think that is important?
Yeah. So just to add to what Arvind mentioned, like even over here in Canada, whenever I've applied for roles, they've never asked me for my grade sheet. They've never even asked to see my certificate whether I actually passed anything. They just take your word for it, honestly, and that's a different story. Yeah. So even like my personal experience in terms of placements after my bachelor's or rather the last semester of bachelor's, उस time पे there was like I mean I was like 7 GPA के आसपास ही था मैं but they had like cut off के like 7.5 या 8 के ऊपर ही X Honeywell या फिर like ABB या whatever like I was targeting controls की companies so like that's what they had like set up. The college itself had set up as cutoffs. I don't think the companies even cared who applied for those roles. But just going back to like seeing my like batchmates from undergrad, like the guys who were technically lower, like 4 or 5 CGPA, those were like almost fail and just barely passing. Like they are doing pretty well right now, like in terms of, believe it or not, like a couple of them have done their masters and they're actually excelling in the US right now in whatever field they're doing because they actually believed in and they didn't really care about the marks. They actually got the knowledge. So like that was like a key highlight and that was like a life lesson for me as well. Like do not chase marks at all. Like this is like a prime example in front of you in real life. Like these guys have actually done and are actually doing a decent job at whatever they're doing.
Yeah, no, I just got reminded of a quote that I read on the internet. Apparently, it was said by Einstein, but you have to fact check it. You can't judge you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree.
Telemetry.
I don't know if Einstein really said that, but anyway, that's
quote
kind
is
of what I
nice.
got reminded of. Yeah, it is nice indeed. And yeah, I mean, marks is not everything because some people may be very bad when it comes to studying and giving exams, but they might be really good at completely other things, like perhaps marketing. They could probably sell you the Taj Mahal, but they may have failed in university. They don't need an MBA, but they might be really good. So how do you evaluate them?
Right. So now
Even
coming
in my sorry I'm just
Sure.
want to add to Arvind's point but like even during my masters like out of all the courses that I've taken only 2 had like proper in-person exams. The rest were like project based and assignment based, and that's how you would be graded. Yeah.
So
Wow.
we'll get back to the management, because the thing is, what when we're going through this, the management or the MBA courses itself has a different level of
They have a very
understanding that
different.
you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, 12th was horrible.
Oh,
I
goodness.
had two aims in life. One was to clone myself. Number two was to become a waiter at Saravana Bhavan and have ghee roast every day.
Wrong. Honestly, I feel it should have been kept open. Whoever wanted to study whatever subject, they should have been allowed, like physics, chemistry, maths, bio, psychology, whatever.
You do a 11th, 10th, you do a 12th, with get good marks, do engineering, after that do masters. This is a very
Yeah.
typical Indian template. I used to have a notebook where one of these guys, Sean and other friends, they swear I used to put a line against their name. One code. Here, you swear once, twice. You swear twice today. So I was that.
Count the number of lines. You should be having 10 lines. In 10 lines, you should write 10 words.
एसपी का मेरे को बिल्कुल भी नहीं पता ब्रो. So I took commerce, safe, सबसे safe है. कोई कुछ बोलेगा नहीं उसमें 11th में. The reason was no student. Reason was teacher.
How we used to hide our phones back then was putting it into like compass boxes. I think this is some engineer censoring this video.